Hi everyone, welcome to the webinar on how to start a paper in academic writer. I'm going to give people a little bit more time to join, but just to test my audio, if you want to drop in the chat where you're located, uh, that's always kind of a fun icebreaker. I'm in Rockville, Maryland. My name is Jana Pariser. I work at APA. I think my official title is Senior Customer Success Specialist. I work with the customer engagement team for training and all things academic writer. And this is my colleague Emily. She's going to be handling the Q&A and the chat. So if you have any questions, just feel free to drop them in the chat. Emily will be there, and if it's something that I can address during the webinar, I will go ahead and try to do that. But if you are patient with me, I might answer your question as I'm going along. Oh my gosh, we're all over the country today. This is great. In the interest of time, I'm going to go ahead and get started. But really quick, I wanted to drop into the chat our YouTube channel. This has some of our previously recorded webinars that range from like intro to academic writer, using the reference center, presenting data, all kinds of things, academic writer and PsycNet. So if I don't cover something in today's session, you can always refer back to one of our previously recorded webinars. The assumption going into this is that I am going to focus on the Writing Center and getting you started in writing a paper in academic writer, which means I'm not going to touch on the Learning Center or the Reference Center. So I'm not going to give you an overview of how to build references into academic writer or how to use the Learning Center. I'm really just going to focus on starting a paper. So hopefully some of the other video content will help. And then we do still have using the Reference Center webinar coming up later, if not this month, I think next month. All right, I'm going to turn off my video and start sharing my screen. Let's see, video off. And let me make sure I'm sharing the correct screen. We should all see academic writer at this point.
Looks good.
Awesome. Thank you, Emily. Oh, also, I work from home, so if you hear dogs barking in the background, you're not imagining it. It really is, they really are dogs barking in the background. So I wanted to start off from the academic writer home screen. So if I were on campus, and I would have access to the Learning Center, but in order to access the Writing Center, you do have to create an account. So I'm going to immediately log in. One thing to note here is you can also access the site help from this dropdown. The site help is where you would contact our support team, or you could look up answers on how to use academic writer. There's a lot of FAQ in there. Let's log in. And now I'm going to navigate to the Writing Center. So I immediately have two choices: go to my papers or start a new paper. We're going to start a new paper. We offer 9 templates in academic writer. These all adhere to APA style guidelines. From here, some of these templates will offer you some heading levels built in, like the meta-analysis paper, the case study paper, and I'm pretty sure the empirical paper have a preset heading template because those have standard headings that go along with them. The rest of the templates will come blank and you'll have to build in your headings because those are a little bit more, they're a little bit based on how you develop the paper. If you wanted to learn more about what type of paper it is or what the structure should look like, you can always click on View Sample Paper and that will open in a new window. And so here we can see this is a professional paper, a professional literature review. I can tell from the running head, and then as I scroll down, there's an author note, etc. If I wanted to look at more of it, I could just click on this and it'll open in a Word document. One of the reasons I always recommend selecting a template that matches your assignment is that we do have some related help within the templates to remind you what would be included in a literature review or say a case study paper. So picking the correct template can give you some additional insight as you're writing your paper. For this though, I am going to select the basic paper template, which is also our most popular template. So once you click on it, you have to immediately decide if you're going to do a student assignment or a professional manuscript. A student assignment, you can add in all of the elements that you see here. You're not limited to excluding them. You can customize the paper when you select student assignment. When you select professional manuscript, you know that these are going to be included because these are elements of a professional manuscript. And you can always open here to learn more about this template. So for this, I want to select student assignment because I want to show you how to add in those additional features because your faculty may require one and not the other. So this gives you some customization options. You do have to immediately title your paper, which I think usually for me is like the last thing I would do when writing a paper. So I'm going to just give this a basic paper title. So how to start a paper in academic writer. And as you notice below, we do have a character count for this. We give you 500 characters for your title. And then you can always link to the tutorial on how to title your work. Titling your paper is very specific. That's why we have a whole tutorial on it. Once I hit start writing, I'm dropped into the body of my paper. And this is just a basic writing word processor. So I can expand my toolbar here, which gives me a lot of extra options. If I want, I can collapse content to make it a little less busy. And we also have a focus mode. So just to eliminate some of the distractions. First thing though, I think I want to start adding in some headings just to give myself like a jumping off point. So you can do that in a couple of ways. You can add a new section here. Maybe I know I'm going to have a discussion section. Oh, I've obviously written this in before. So then I'm going to hit plus, and this will automatically add it in as a heading level 1. I might also know that I'm going to put in a method section, so I'm going to just type it in here, and then I can highlight it, and I can change the heading level here. So now I have 2 level 1 headings, and then maybe I want to add in a subheading. So maybe I have method 1 and method 2. I can highlight this and I can take these to a heading level of 2, and it's going to automatically format it for me. So I'm not constantly referring back to the manual. How do I do this? Where is this supposed to be? Now I have this set up for me. And it automatically, when you hit enter, because it's a heading level, it's going to do your indent for you. So it is helpful to start building your outline. And these will become navigational. So when you have a lot of content in your paper, you could click on discussion, and now my cursor is under the discussion section. So it's a great way to navigate through your paper as well. Let's put some content. I'm going to copy and paste some content in. Say you started your paper and you want to bring it into Academic Writer. I have some very creative Latin text that I'm going to copy and paste in. So Academic Writer doesn't give you a right click for pasting content. You have to use keyboard shortcuts. I'm using a PC, so I'm just going to Control V. I don't know like how many of you have ever noticed when using Word and you try to paste something in, it will sometimes cause weird formatting errors. Every system is going to have some sort of quirk. So we always recommend to paste as plain text. So that strips out the formatting from your text. And that will eliminate any type of errors or weird margins, because this happens even in Word. You can choose to paste with formatting and it might be fine. You never know. But we always try to recommend to paste as plain text. So now I have some nice plain text in here. And you can kind of start to see what it'll look like. So this is where I'm writing from. So definitely if you've started writing your paper outside of Academic Writer, you can always bring it in, just copy and paste. Next thing is I've written some content. I need to start adding some references to my paper. So I have some headings in, I have some content. We keep a list of references underneath the paper. So if I want to add a reference, I'm going to click the box, and this is going to look at the reference center, everything I've added to my reference center. I then can select from to add to this paper. I'm going to search for a tag that I know that I've used. So I'm going to use Rembrandt as my search term. And as I scroll down, I can start to see the tags. I'm specifically using Rembrandt annotated bibliography. So I have all of these. This is perfect. This is what I'm using for my paper. I've selected all of them. I'm going to add to paper. So now it's letting me know that I have added those. If I wanted to search for more, I could, but now I'm going to exit out. So you can see here navigationally, I'm within the references section. So I could open the body and go into the paper from the left-hand navigation. So now as I scroll down, I have all of these references added to my paper. Every time you add a reference to your paper, Academic Writer is building your reference page for you. So if we click on preview up over here, and I click over to pages, you can see that all of my references are being built into the paper for you. You don't have to do it. So it's great. You don't have to worry about the hanging indent. It's being done for you. The only thing you have to be really mindful of is that you use all of these references, because you don't want to submit a paper where you haven't used the reference. So if you don't use it, you want to make sure you take it off of the paper, so that way you're not submitting it. Another thing that you want to be mindful of is when you export your paper, APA style requires these links to be active. And when you export your paper as a Word document, these are not automatically activated. All you have to do is drop your cursor at the end of it and give it a space, and that will activate all of the links. Some professors can be really picky about that, and some don't mind, but it's always good to know that you want to activate these links. So if I go back to edit, I have all my references. Let's add a citation. You do have to know where the citations go. So as a parenthetical citation, I know that I'm going to put it at the end of a sentence. So I've given myself a little space here. I'm going to go down. I'm just going to select the first one and I'm going to hit cite. And then it gives me the option for parenthetical or narrative, or I can add in a quotation. I'm just going to choose parenthetical. If you don't know what that means, you can always click on this little question mark and it's going to give you an example of what that'll look like and what it actually means. So I'm going to hit submit. And then you can see here, oh, I've added it twice. Let me take one of these out. Actually, I can no longer drop my cursor in here. Let's do a quick refresh. Oh, perfect. So now I only need one of these and I'm good. And you can see as I hover over it, it starts to highlight. If this was, say, a narrative, I could put, say this is according to, and I can just go down and select another reference and select cite, and this time narrative, and it will drop it in the last name and the date. So if I'm writing the sentence and I want it to be a narrative citation, I can just say, oh, well, according to Chatterjee, and then I can go down and just drop in the last name using academic writer. So just be mindful if you are doing a narrative citation in academic writer, it's going to include that last name for you and the date. And then really quickly, you can see it now says cited. So we're letting you know what you've cited and what you haven't cited. Emily, do I have any good questions from the chat that I should address really quickly?
Yeah, we do have some good questions. Someone was asking about headings and if you're alerted if you use the incorrect heading type. I know that you were going to show the check tool, so maybe we can just wait a moment until you show the headings check tools.
Yeah,
Um,
that would be perfect. Oh, I'm
the
glad someone asked that.
Yeah, great question. The other thing someone was asking was about the reference tags. So I know you mentioned it. I don't know if you have time kind of briefly, because I know we weren't going to get into the reference center too much, but maybe just show where that is.
Yeah, so I would refer you back to one of the reference center tutorials, but if I hit edit reference, it's going to tell me that I'm going into the reference center. And when I click yes, I'm within that reference form. And at the very bottom, you can see I've added in my tag. And each reference can hold probably around 20 tags. You're not limited to 20 tags in academic writer. It's just the reference is limited to around 20-ish tags. So that was actually really great. Oh, let me show you. So now I've started the paper. How do I get back to it? It's in my list of papers. So now instead of starting a new paper, I'm just clicking on the paper that I was in. So I've covered citations, adding references to your paper, building
Hey,
in some
Jana,
of,
sorry
yeah.
to butt in. Could you just really quick show, someone's asking they missed the in-text citation. Can you just show
Oh,
where
sure.
it is that you add that again? Thank you.
So again, you want to make sure you put it in the right spot because academic writer will not warn you that it has been dropped in somewhere else. Oh, that's not a good spot because I already have a narrative here. So I'm gonna give myself a space here. And as I scroll down, I can just select this reference. I can even select 2 or 3 references if I want and select cite. So when I select more than one reference, it doesn't give me the option for the quotation, but I can choose parenthetical and narrative. I'm going to choose parenthetical and then hit submit. and it drops it in for me. So here it's correctly formatted it for me using two references for this particular sentence. So yeah, it's really easy. We try to make it as easy as possible. We want you to be able to focus on the content of your paper. Oh, this is flying by. Let me go to the title page. So the title page also, we're trying to take that off of you. This is a form. We're just giving you the content to fill it in. So this is AW 101. My course name is Academic Writer Webinar Series. My professor is Dr. Arthur Evans. He's the CEO of the American Psychological Association. I'm just gonna pick today's date. I'm gonna say it's the 23rd. I hope that's right. And then if I wanted to add in a running head, I could do that here. And maybe it's just academic writer. And then I'm gonna save and continue to author. I'm gonna build in my name, Jana Pariser. And then as I scroll down, affiliation, APA. Actually, I should say American Psychological Association. Hopefully I spelled all of that correctly, and I'm part of customer engagement. So then I'm going to add to author list. If you have multiple authors on your paper, you can add those in. So now when I look at preview, I'm all formatted. So great. You can also customize your paper sections by clicking on this spot right here. You can add in your author note, your abstract, and your keywords. So those, you just click on it, and now I have an author note. And then if you want to remove it, you can just disable it right here. We also have the related help, and the related help is going to change based on where you are. So I'm within the title page and the author customization, so it's focusing on that content. If I toggle to the body of the paper, it's going to also change to the body of the paper, and it's going to give me a lot of information tucked in here. Heading levels, as you can see, there's a lot of information, and it'll link you back to the quick guide on heading levels and the publication manual excerpt. So there's a lot of content tucked into that question mark, so please don't be afraid to use it. I'm going to toggle over to a paper that has a bit more content to show you some of the check tools and how you can start proofreading your paper. Before I get into that, if you do want to collaborate, say you want someone to read your paper, or if you're working on a group paper, you can add users to your paper. So when I click on it, I can choose their role. If it's a group paper, you would choose collaborator. If you just want someone to read over it, you can select reviewer. Say I want to add Emily. I can just add in her email and it'll find her for me. She's already on here, and then it would send her an email. And then I can assign sections. If I have collaborators, I can select the user here, and then at the end, I would complete and distribute. You can also comment. So if you do have someone who is working on the paper with you, or if they're reviewing it, they can leave comments here. And I can filter by user. So if I just wanted to look at Nicole's comments, I don't have any, but I can show resolved comments. So now I can see Nicole has left me several comments and where those are. And let's take a look at your check tools. So I do have a series of check tools. I can use my grammar check, which defaults to being on right here, this button, ABC check mark. This is a technical error Blue is usually technical. You can see here, maybe I have a confused word. Um, Yellow is a readability suggestion. I use a lot of passive verbs. As I scroll down here, I have double spaces. So you can use this to kind of refine some of the grammar and spelling, and then you can click into the check my writing to run a quick readability report. Most advanced papers will have an above average reading level. This is based on the Flesch-Kincaid scale. So I don't necessarily know if I would worry about that. If you do use a lot of cliches or redundancies, you can just click to where those are. And this was a conscious choice. I put it in quotations, so I think this is fine. I'm going to keep it, but it gives you a chance to take a look at your writing. Here, I've used this reference 4 times. That's excessive for one paper. Maybe I need to get another type of reference for the point that I'm trying to make. So this gives me a chance to look through that. Or if I've used the same phrase 4 times, this would give me a chance to kind of go back and rephrase some of those statements. I'm feeling pretty good about my average sentence length. You want to keep your writing varied, so this gives you a chance to take a look at that. But my transitions are lacking a little, so maybe I want to explore some synonyms or some additional transitions. I can scroll through them and make those decisions. So it's just a way to help you proofread your paper. You can also check your headings order. So just to make sure that you have done your headings correctly, you're not skipping a level. This will give you a red flag. So when you go back to my paper, I can see here I skipped from a heading level 1 to a heading level 3, I believe. If I click on methodology, I can scroll down. What am I looking at? Test. Response. I can just highlight that and turn that into a heading level 2, and that will get rid of my red flag. And then the other aspect of headings order is that you have to have more than one subheading. So this will check for that. Check unbalanced headings will make sure that I don't have a singular subheading. So as I go to that, I can see I have a bunch of red flags here. And I can either add an additional subheading to balance that, or I can just turn them into a heading level 1. But this at least gives you a chance to double check your heading levels after you've done the paper, because depending on how long your paper is, it could get very confusing organizing all of the content. And then we have a check references, and what this will do is check your references for missing elements. So say you brought your reference in, you didn't have a chance to look it over. If I check it, it will give me an exclamation point next to any references that are missing an element, like a title or an author name. So see here, this one is missing an author. I now have an exclamation point. I would want to go in and check that. And the last one is to match your reference and your citations. So even though we're giving you the cited, this is your chance to go through and visually find that red flag. I have not used this in my paper, so I would want to either use it or remove it. And here I could just easily take one off and I'm good. And the last thing is, how do you get your paper out of Academic Writer? Good question. You can email it to yourself as a Word document, or you can download it as a Word or a PDF. You can also just export your paper reference list if you wanted, but that is the basics of getting started with writing in Academic Writer. Emily, any more questions? What can I answer in our last 3 minutes or couple of minutes? Oh, did I lose you or are you muted?
I was totally muted. Sorry,
It's
I was
okay.
talking. Of course. So you covered so much. I think we covered most of the questions. We did have one just come in
Uh-huh.
about finding synonyms, which I think is interesting. I don't know
Oh,
that I've ever heard this, but um in Word, I guess you can like
huh.
hover over a word and it will show you a synonym for it. So I don't think we don't have like a built-in dictionary or thesaurus, but this is something we could take straight to our product team.
Yeah, I love that suggestion actually. I think what we focused on, so you can see here, like I have upon demonstrated, it is kind of an like APA style wants you to have a little bit clearer writing. Clarity is a big feature. It's giving me a different phrase. So show is simpler and clearer. So if I upon showed, maybe that is one way. And here, like, is it this one? No, I have so many passive verbs. I wish I had a better example of it. So here again, it's not necessarily a synonym, but it is giving me a readability suggestion. So I don't think that's quite what you were looking for, but I would be happy to take that back to our product team, because that is a great question. Anything else, Emily? That was so good.
Someone was just asking for the YouTube page with recordings. Maybe you can just point out where that is linked in Academic Writer.
Yeah. So down here at the bottom, this looks like just generic social media, and most of it is, but this YouTube channel or YouTube button goes to our training page. So on the training page, we have some short video content on how to use specific or how to do specific actions in academic writer. And we also have some recorded webinars that you can go back and reference. And I'll be adding this webinar to this playlist. It might take me a couple of days to get it on there, but I will have this in there as a reference. And then if you click into one of our introduction to academic writer webinars, we will have a section completely on the Writing Center. Great
Perfect.
question.
Another good question, can you import a paper from Word?
So you can't directly import, but you can do the copy and paste. Um, if you, depending on how much you have, I mean, you could copy and paste it in as plain text and then go back and spend a little bit of time adding in the page breaks, the paragraphs, the headings, just so you could take advantage of the check tools if you want. But definitely copy and paste is a feature. I'm just gonna grab my text again and demonstrate. So off screen, I grab some Latin text and say I want to put that under the methodology section. Um, I'm just going to use my keyboard shortcut, and I have a PC, so it's Control V for me. And then I would choose plain text. You could choose the formatting, but you know how sometimes when you paste content into Word, it gets all weird. We never know what's going to happen, so we always just recommend pasting as plain text. So now, say I wanted that to be a paragraph, I could just do an enter and just kind of add those in to finish formatting my paper. Great questions, you guys. I know we're a little over time, but I'm happy to answer additional questions. Was there anything else, Emily?
I think that's it.
Oh, wow, great. Um, Thanks for joining us, everyone. We really appreciate it. I'm so happy you had such great questions. Please feel free to use Academic Writer as much as possible. Don't forget, you can always click into our site help page here and you can look up answers to your questions. So if you did have a question about references, you could just do a quick search here and it'll have a lot of answers for you. And if you need to, you can always contact Academic Writer support using our form. We have a pretty good response time, usually within the same day, depending on the time of day. Um, but yeah, have a great day, everybody. Good luck this semester writing your papers. I hope you all get the best grade ever.
Someone said this is like having your own personal tutor. I love that.
Oh, I love that too. Yes, use it. It's
We're
such a
here,
great tool.
here to help.
I'm going to go ahead and end the webinar, Emily.
Okay,
Thanks for all of your help. It was great.
great job.
All right, bye.
Bye.